Hi, thanks for joining Garrett's Writing Corner. Today we're going to talk about 6 different walls that are silently destroying your motivation to write. That first wall that we're going to talk about is that of the idea being king. So, for a lot of us writers, we have these ideas in our mind for characters or for a world we want to build or for moments that we want our characters to have. And then we start writing our book, and 1 or 2 chapters in, we're doing really well. And then at some point, we find ourselves bored. This is because we romanticize that idea. We love the idea itself. So, a way to combat this is to spend less time planning your books. Try discovery writing and try picking 1 or 2 ideas, and instead of building out the whole thing in your mind, just start writing things down in a narrative format and see where that takes you. The second wall that I want to talk to you about is that of perfectionism. Now, this is something that many people in general suffer or have. It's not just writers, but writing specifically. I think the perfectionism kills a lot of new writers and a lot of new books because a lot of us have these expectations for ourselves that we expect to be really good at writing right away because we love to read and we love to write. But that's just not true. But when you have that expectation for yourself, then when you write down your story and spend a bunch of time on it and it's not as good as you want it to be, that's kind of demoralizing. And I think that kills motivation for a lot of writers. So, my advice for that is to just have realistic expectations for yourself. And hopefully, if you keep writing, you'll get a lot better. The third wall that I want to talk about is that of procrastination. Now, this isn't unique to writers, but it's very common with writers. A lot of us like to put off, like, why do today what you can do tomorrow, right? A way to combat procrastination is by setting daily and weekly goals for yourself. I like to use word count goals, and I like to try and write 500 words a day. I don't usually hit that, but using these word count goals, I usually average between 1 and 3,000 words a week, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 1 to 3,000 words more a week than a lot of procrastinators can write. So, give word count goals a try if procrastination is something that you struggle with. Fourth thing I want to talk to you about is self-doubt. Now, self-doubt is super common, even amongst very popular established writers. There's stories of writers who will write some chapters and then they'll look at what they've written, and they'll think, why would anyone read this? This isn't any good. I think George R.R. Martin has said something to that effect before. Yeah, but that's a super common thing amongst established writers. And if they feel that way, then us as new writers are certainly going to feel that way. So that's just something that we need to overcome. The fifth wall that I want to talk to you about kind of goes with the fourth one. It's just fear in general. And fear, there's a lot of things that people fear when they write. They might fear what other people will think of them when they find out that they're writers, or they fear that they're just bad. They fear that no one will ever read what they want to write. And a good exercise to hopefully get out of that funk is to pick your favorite novel, go to Goodreads or Amazon and read the 1-star reviews for those novels. And that will just show you that it doesn't matter what you write, people are going to love it and they're going to hate it. What can you do? The sixth and final wall that I wanted to talk to you about is that of burnout. Burnout is a real thing, not just in writing, but it's very common for writers to get burnt out from working on a story. Or a lot of burnout happens when writers don't see themselves achieving the goals that they've set for themselves, whether that be getting an agent or getting published or whatever it may be. So there's 3 things I want to talk to you about to help avoid burnout. So that first one is to take care of yourself. Self-care is super important. Get enough sleep, eat right. That'll help you avoid burning out, but it will also help your writing. It's a lot easier to write and think clearly when you've had a full night's rest, or when you're eating healthily, or when you're working out. So the second thing I want to touch on is giving yourself breaks. Now, you don't necessarily have to stop writing. Something that some writers do is they'll work on 2 projects simultaneously. And when they need a break from one, they'll switch to the other. So if you feel like that would be helpful for you, give that a try. And the third thing to help avoid burnout is setting boundaries for yourself. Boundaries are super important, and some of these boundaries could include no work zones in your house, or specific time frames when you're going to work on your story, and you don't work on it outside of those times. This can be very important if your writing is affecting the rest of your life. Set boundaries. Boundaries are good. This has been Garrett's Writing Corner. If you like the content, please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you think I missed, or let me know topics that you want covered in the future. Thanks.